Hey everybody, this is DJ Brunch, and I'm working on testing a new mod that I've put together. This mod stems from an idea brought up by the players in the CloverCraft SMP. So, we're going to start walking through this world to see if we can find what was added to it. This is a brand new world. I'm using the Essentials loader so that I can load the mod. I've been trying out some different loaders just to see what they do. Like my other Java mod, this one is based off of the Fabric API and loader. So let's go check out and see if we can find what we're looking for. It should be pretty common. There they are. So if you take a look, we've got clovers. And if we pick them up, we can collect them. They work very similar to leaf litter and pink petals and wildflowers, where if you want to place them, you can place them in fours and it lays them out. There's a couple other things with this, but since this is a brand new world, I'm going to have to do some searching to try to find what I need. And it may just be a matter of staying up through the night to get what I need. Because what I need is some bone meal. I need to find me some skeletons. But to do that, I also need to find me some other resources. Actually, I don't even need the bone meal because I've found some more. So let's just try placing these and see if we can get the other add-on part that this gives. Some interesting things about this is you'll notice that the stems work just like the stems on the flowers as well. Depending on the grass coloring, the stems change colors. That was something that I learned about in development of this mod. So if we go to different biomes, so maybe if we head over this way, I was trying to look to see, do we see any savanna anywhere nearby? Oh, I see a village. Let's actually head over there. And we'll see if we cross any other biomes. So we started off over there. Let's see what we can find here. Now, these clovers will spawn throughout the world. And they have a similar spawning to stuff like wildflowers and pink petals. Probably less so. Probably less spawning comparatively to those. But they should spawn enough or often enough that you don't have to search too far through chunks to find some. Here we go. Let's get us some stuff. Let's see if we got anything up here. I always forget there isn't a chest in those. Let's grab us some wheat. Get us some bread. So we have some food source here. And let's see what else this village has to offer. What can we see from up here? Ooh. The goats. Face. Ooh, I heard a skeleton. Where is he? Under the mountain somewhere. Ooh. I put these down. Spider. Here, Mr. Spider. Yep. Oh, that's right. I don't have a shield. Yeah, we got some bones. Ooh, another guy. Oh, right. I think we got enough stuff here that we can head back to the village. Let's come over here and we're just going to clear out some of this grass stuff. Let's see what we can do here. Alright, so let me pull out my bone meal. And we'll see if this gets us any. Alright, so we got some stuff. We're looking for other items. Alright, let's see. I'm not seeing any generating yet. So I'll give it a couple more tries, but let's see. Do we have any? No. All right. Well, we'll do it. We'll just do it with this. So if you place one and then you use the bone meal on it, it grows. And you can grow it all the way up. So you can grow it just like any other thing. And you can make patches of it. There we go. What do we got now? What do we have? We have a Lucky Clover. So, what does a Lucky Clover do for us? Probably does what you might be thinking. It gives us luck when you offhand it. So now, you have +1 luck, which is great for things like fishing to improve your chances of getting better equipment or books and so forth. Now I do have some string. How many? Maybe I can make a fishing rod. Let's see, is it like that and then like that? Yes, there we go. Alright. Sleep again. And then we'll go try our luck at fishing. We'll see if this gets us some better equipment. Or it's supposed to give us better chance of getting books and better equipment and things like that by giving us +1 luck. Got a fish. But we're trying to get equipment. Come on, book. Come on, bow. Come on, better fishing rod. Ooh, we got a book already. Piercing 4, Unbreaking 3. That's a pretty good book. So I'd say stay tuned after kind of the Minecraft part, and I'm going to show off the versions of the clovers that I went through before kind of the final one that I am showing you in the game right now. I'll show you the Photoshop work that I did to build it out. So if you're looking to create a texture yourself, this will help you kind of understand some of the parts of it, and I'll talk through what I learned from it as well. Pufferfish. Come on. Let's get us bow. Come on, bow. Oop, bow wool. Not a bow. It was close. I mean, that's close. Alright. Last one at this spot. Then I'm going to head back to the village. Grab that bed, and we'll try a different fishing spot. Yep, just cod. Alright, back to the village. Alright, let's keep moving on. Alright, so this might be a little bit subtle to see, but you'll notice the grass here is a little bit greener than it is where we were in like the plains or the meadow biomes. And so if you take a close look at the stems are a slightly different green here than they were back in the plains biome. And that's a feature that you have to build in when you're doing this. Same thing applies. Oh, here we go. We'll just go over to this grass over here, and you'll see that it's a different color variation of green for the stems. And we'll keep going. We'll see if we can find a savanna as well. And I'll just kind of bring you back once I find a savanna in this world. Here we go. Here's savanna biome. You can see the different color on the grass between the savanna and this more plains-like or meadow-like. So let me just go over here. And you can kind of see that difference in the green that's on the stems. And let's do the same thing over here. And then we'll we'll just head back over to that jungle area real quick. So here we go. You can see the difference in the grass coloring here. Alright. So let's do the same thing here. We'll do this. So there you can see the difference in how the grass affects the stems of our clovers. So in this mod for CloverCraft SMP, we've got clovers that spawn in the world. They can be bone-mealed up to the 4 spots. And we have a chance, I think it's like 10%, when you hit that 4 mark, whether bone-mealed or placed, of spawning a Lucky Clover. That Lucky Clover then gives you +1 luck, which affects things like fishing, and increases your chances of getting better items. So, those 2 things are what are added for this mod. Pretty cool, huh? Stay tuned after this to see how I laid out everything in Photoshop for the placement of these. And I will also show the iterations I went through in the design of the clovers that are appearing on the ground. Alright, we will catch you in the next mod. Oh, are you a member of a Minecraft SMP and want a mod built to help you with your SMP, something that's unique to it? In this case, we've got clovers for CloverCraft, but whatever your SMP is, I might be able to build you out a simple mod. If you have an idea for your SMP and you want a simple mod made, just leave a comment and I will see if I can build it out for you. That's it for now. Bye! Oh, and stay tuned after this to see how I did the layout in Photoshop. So, as promised, here is how I did the layout in Photoshop for the textures for the clover and for the Lucky Clover. So in this case, the clover is a block, and I started off by doing it in a 16 by 16 pixel layout. I grabbed the pink petals layout so I could understand the way that the pink petals were placed on here, and I put in some guides to split it because it looked like everything was kind of split into quadrants, and the purpose of splitting them into quadrants with the pink petals and with the clovers is that each of these quadrants represents one of the areas that will appear when you place them. So that 1, 2, 3, 4 placement that you saw in the gameplay was related to which quadrants. And if I remember correctly, it goes 1, 2, 3, 4 for the placement. So I started with this so I could get the idea of how big to make things in the 16 by 16 version. And so then I started with the first version. So the first thing I said was I'm going to make one big one kind of in the same area as the big one here. So I did this. And so I did that, not realizing, and before I put the guides in, not realizing that this is actually too big to fit in here. So what happens when you are doing this quadrant placement version and you have stuff that crosses quadrants, it actually looks like it's at different levels in the game. So like this piece looked like it was down, and then these two pieces look like they were higher up, which made kind of a funky layout because of that crossing. So I revamped it to do this. This layout is okay, and it works because it stays within the quadrant. And so then I added more. So in the first version I had, again, a big one and changed its layout to be this. Then I added kind of a medium one, and then I started adding small ones throughout. And like with the pink petals, the idea is just to give the idea of a clover within that layout. So this was my second iteration that I did. So again, the first iteration had things that spanned across these quadrants, which was a problem. And so I did that. Then after I had that working in the mod overall, and the 4 placement working, and the generation of the Lucky Clover working, I then decided to do what I would call like an HD version. So the base Minecraft stuff is 16 by 16, but you can actually build these in multiples of 16. So we can go from 16 to 32 to 64, and so forth. You can kind of scale it up that way. So for a third iteration, I decided to make a HD clover. And so what I did with that one is I bumped up to 32. And so with that, I was able to actually make some decent looking clovers, decent looking from my perspective, that worked much better just at 32 by 32 with the same quadrants. These quadrants are 16 by 16. And so what I did then is I basically laid it out, put clovers throughout more of it, and now my large and my medium-sized ones look really pretty decent. And then when we hit the small ones, again, it gives kind of that illusion of clovers. And so I put more of them here, put them in varying directions, and this is the texture that you see for the final layout of it. The other piece that I put in here was the Lucky Clover. And so the Lucky Clover was a 16 by 16 graphic. And I'll pull that up now. To work on these, I zoom in pretty far. And then basically for this one, because it's the Lucky Clover, I made it 4 leaves. And so we have our 4-leaf clover here for our Lucky Clover. Again, kind of that same heart shape for the leaves, and then just a little bit more for the stem. And this is just a item texture. It's not a block texture. And so because it's an item texture, you only really have to have it laid out how you want it to be. We don't have to worry about the quadrants, although I used the quadrants to kind of line it up and center it. But that's the layout that I went with this. And if I wanted, I could probably make an HD version of this too, make it a little bit smoother. It'd be a little more pixels across and things like that. But this works pretty well based off of what it looks like in the game. Hope that helps you if you are trying to come up with a texture. As I mentioned in the playthrough part, if you do have a mod idea for your SMP, I'm open to having you post comment about it, what you are thinking about building. If you are artistic but not, say, great or don't want to tackle the programming, I'm willing to pair with you on that as well. So you could maybe make your graphics for how you want them to appear in the game. And then I can work through the programming aspect of it. And again, I've done both Java and Bedrock. So depending on which version you're playing, we can work through creating that mod for you. Hope you enjoyed a little bit of the behind the scenes of how to create textures for Minecraft. And again, leave a comment if you have an idea for a mod.